Hi everyone, it's Jason Blackman here from Just Pure, and it's Limited Company Day. So today what I'm going to do is just briefly talk you through what you get when your accountant provides you with your limited company accounts. It might be a bit boring, but you know how it is, and I've had clients that do the same sort of thing. You provide them with their accounts and they say, oh yeah, just a load of pieces of paper, I don't really look at it, I just sign it and that's it, which is a bit of a shame because it's not too daunting. And I'm going to give you just a quick clip today on what limited company accounts usually look like and what they mean. So, as I say, I'm Jason Blackman. I run a practice called Just Pure. If you'd like to contact me for any help, advice or anything you want at all relating to your numbers, then please do drop me a line. My email address is justpurelewis, JUSTPURELEWES, justpurelewis@gmail.com. My website is accountantlewis.co.uk. So please do drop me a line. Now, limited company accounts. I'm just going to really briefly run through them, what you get normally from your accountant and what they mean. So there's 8 pages in this example. They're what's called FRS 102 accounts. Now you may well get FRS 105 accounts, and I will talk about them in next week's clip. Today I'm going to talk about FRS 102, and if your accountant prepares your FRS 102 accounts, this is what you'd normally get. So the first page is just the cover. It will say your company registration number up here, and it will say the name of your company. It will usually say annual report and unaudited accounts, and then either the year end or the period end of your accounts. So if I just scroll down through to the second page, which is normally the contents page, so that's pretty self-explanatory. We've then got the company information page, which is the next page, which will just have some very brief information on it. The name of the director of the company, which will usually be yourself if the accounts are being prepared for you for your limited company, and the company registration number and where it's registered. We then move on to the director's report. Again, you'll get the company number, where the company is registered, and I'm not going to read every single word, you'll be pleased to know, but on the director's report, this is just what you're signing, just to sort of to give your authority to file the accounts, and just to sort of understand how seriously you take the accounts and what you're signing basically. Excuse me. The director presents his report and accounts for the period. Which director your name held office, which means you're director of the company during the period, and then the statement of director's responsibilities. So it says things like the directors are responsible for preparing the report and accounts in accordance with applicable law and regulations. Company law requires the directors to prepare accounts for each financial year and what the law states. The directors are required to select suitable accounting policies, make judgments and estimates, prepare the accounts on the going concern. And obviously your accountant will do this for you, but in the eyes of the law, you as a director are responsible, and this is what you're signing for. So it's always worth just having a little read through. I know it's boring, I know it's long-winded, but just have a little read through just before you say to your accountant, where do I sign? So it says there, directors are responsible for keeping adequate accounting records that are sufficient to show and explain the company's transactions, etc., etc. So just have a little read through that. It is pretty harmless if you read it, but it's just to say that you sort of, as a director, you take the seriousness of the accounts into consideration before you're signing, and you get the small company provision. This report has been prepared in accordance with special provisions, etc., etc. And then you'll usually just sign it. So you'll have your name and the position in the company, which is usually director, and what date you sign the accounts. So this page is really your responsibilities as a director, so it is worth just reading through before you sign them. Next page, we've got the income statements. This is what's called sometimes the profit and loss report, but in FRS 102 it's called the income statement, and it'll just be a summary. It will just be a summary of your sales or turnover and your expenses, and in this case it's a loss. It will be a profit or a loss. And then any tax you're due to pay. Obviously if there's a profit, you'd normally be due to pay tax, so the tax will be on there, and then the profit or the loss after tax. On page 6, we're nearly there. Statement of financial position. It's often known as the balance sheet, and it's just a record of your assets and liabilities within the company as at a particular date in time, usually the year end, so in this case it's the 31st of March. Usually you'll get fixed assets first. In this case there isn't any. You'll get current assets, which is things like debtors, who owes you money, cash in your bank account, etc. You'll get creditors, which is who the company owes money to, so trade creditors, VAT, PAYE, corporation tax, etc., etc. and you get the profit and loss account balance, and then you'll get a few notes underneath that. For the period ending blah blah blah, the company was entitled to exemption from audit. That's pretty standard wording. The director acknowledges his responsibilities for complying with the requirements of the Act. These accounts have been prepared in accordance with the provisions applicable. It's FRS 102, as I said, so just something to look out for when you sign your accounts. As I said, there's also FRS 105, which I'll talk about next time. Financial statements were approved by the board and authorised for issue and were signed on its behalf by. So you're signing your accounts here just to say that you read those notes, you agree the balance sheet, you agree the figures. Obviously, you've got total trust in your accountant to do it, which is absolutely correct. But in the eyes of the law, you're signing as a director just to sort of confirm that you understand everything and everything's correct. Next, we've got the notes to the accounts. So this is just sort of a brief explanation of the figures. So we've got statutory information. It's a private company limited by shares, etc., etc. And the accounts have been prepared with FRS 102, as I said just now. Accounting policies, so just have a read through those. Basis of preparation, which is normal. Presentation currency, and then you'll get sometimes, well, you get a summary of some of the accounts that we looked at just now. So if we go just quickly back to the statement of financial position, you'll see debtors, there's a little number 4 by it, and creditors is a little number 5, and that will tie up with the notes. So there we go, debtors number 4, just a sort of expansion of what that figure relates to. So in this case it's VAT and trade debtors. And the creditors figure, again, just a bit more explanation on what the figures mean, trade creditors and other creditors. Average number of employees you'll get, and then the last page, you'll be pleased to know, is a detailed profit and loss account. So this says this schedule does not form part of the statutory accounts. This is more for your information as a director. And it's probably the page that you'll be most interested in as a director, and probably the page that means the most to you. And this is the page that normally the accountant will ask you to scan just to make sure that it looks okay. It's basically a complete detailed schedule of your profit and loss. So you get your sales first, your turnover, and you'll get all your expenses. So we've got light and heat, stationery, sundry expenses, consultancy fees, a bit more income there as well, and the loss. So usually you'll look at this page, you'll scrutinise that the most as a director, as a client, just to make sure that it does look okay, and it'll probably be the page that means most to you as a company director. So that's it, I think. Yep, that's page 8, so that's the last page on the accounts. So there we go, that's just a brief summary, a brief outline of what FRS 102 accounts contain. As I said, next time we'll look at FRS 105. As I say, as a client, as a director, normally what happens when the accountant gives you your accounts is you just say, yep, where do I sign? But this video is just to show you that you should take it seriously, because you are signing some very important documents, and it's just worth having a read through what you're signing. And I hope this video has helped you just sort of explain a bit more what these accounts contain. So I hope that's helpful. If you've enjoyed the video, please do give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. Every single Friday I produce a limited company clip. And next week we'll talk about FRS 105 accounts. So sorry if it's a bit boring, but I just think sometimes as a client and as a director, it just helps to know a little bit more what you're signing and what you're understanding. So I hope that's helped. Thanks very much for listening, and I'll speak to you all again very soon.